Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so if you didn't see part 1 yet, you'll definitely want to do that. This is bonus general message part 2. And what we've got is we ended things on a cliffhanger, so I was like, we got to do a part 2. Because what we, I have a bug in here. Because what we saw is two people living in different places on different paths in life, yet we have this map between them. And if you didn't see part 1, the free link is right there in the description box. Okay, so you'll want to watch that first and then pop in here for part 2 because it's not going to make sense otherwise. We got to explore how their lives have diverged. The previous card that we had was the Two of Cups, which actually came out twice in part 1. So we had it for them and we had it again as part of like the overarching, like, what is this all about? What is the overarching meaning for this? And my assumption is that both characters have come to the conclusion that you made a really big impact in my life. Now, my impression is that the player is realizing that Queen of Cups is the reason they cannot forget her, is because she is actually the person that they want to marry. She's not anything like all the flashy, superficial relationships they had. There was something so real, so true, so authentic about her, and they're only just now realizing that's why they can't forget her, because they met something that is authentic. They're also realizing that is the person that they would want, which is ironic because there was nothing authentic about them. But at this point, here they are. Both characters are in two different places in the world. They could live in different areas. I would say they definitely do. In this storyline, these characters live in different places. Is there a pathway between them? Yeah, there is. We see the roadway between them, don't we? But it would take travel to get there. The Emperor, well now. The only person who is going to be able to get to that Queen of Cups is going to be an Emperor. That doesn't mean that it's going to be them. We saw them only as a Knight of Wands. Is an Emperor going to be traveling to get to her? Now, this could also represent that they're both in charge of their own lives in different ways. But I was talking about that pathway forward. The Emperor is divine masculine energy. It's Aries energy. Doesn't have to be a man. It's just someone who's in divine masculine energy, the energy of literally the sun, the action taker. And we have Temperance, which is how we described our queen at the very beginning. First card out was our Temperance card. That was our very first card in part 1. I always leave all the cards out for part 1 if I'm doing a part 2, just in case I need to reference them back. Also, I feel like it keeps the whole flow of the story together. The fact that we have an Emperor wanting to make a direct beeline to the Temperance, who is our Queen of Cups. She's very balanced. She's somebody looks really good in like orange, tangerine. There's a lot of orange in our backdrop, and I'm in orange. So maybe orange is a really strong color right now. Also, the color of the sun obviously is a lot of Leo energy, and we are headed right for that Lion's Gate. So all of this, I like how this is kind of like a very cohesive, like very timely storytelling, right? It's against the backdrop of like the Lion's Gate energy. So that's really fun. So we have a Two of Swords. This Two of Swords can talk about blocking things, but if you notice, we actually have like this vortex of energy that is pulling somebody in. It doesn't matter if an Emperor keeps saying, I want to come toward this person that I see as beautiful, as bright, but also calm, but I want to go toward her. I don't know if it's the right time. It doesn't matter if it's the right time or not. She is on their mind. We've got a black hole here. We've got a vortex here. They may be trying to hold back, but I don't think that they can. The Emperor is somebody who knows that they're drawn towards someone and they are intending on taking action, even though they're saying, I'm not quite sure what the best day is. Because an Emperor is a planner. The thing is, an Emperor also listens to the subtleties. We also have something written in Braille here as well. So definitely listens to the subtleties, different ways to receive information, their subconscious. And Emperor is very tapped in and tuned into that, even though they're still trying to make heads and tails of when do I do this? We've got the Girl of Cups, which is like the Page of Cups. I feel like this emperor, who right now I'm inclined to say the emperor is that Knight of Wands. But I haven't fully confirmed it yet. This could be a whole different person who feels very drawn to our Temperance Queen. I'm just going to call it the Temperance Queen instead of the Queen of Cups / Temperance person, right? So the Temperance Queen is someone that this emperor is so drawn to. We'll ask more about who the emperor is and see if we can confirm if that is that knight who's made some significant changes. But when the emperor decides to go ahead and step forward with a love offer, I feel like they would like to have it be a particular day, a particular time, and they're trying to figure out when is the best opportunity. And then I think it's just going to be a little bit sudden. It's going to be a day when they just feel emotionally drawn to do it. This emperor does like to plan things, but they're having trouble planning. Why are they having trouble planning it with her? Because an emperor doesn't usually have difficulties planning something. Why do they have trouble planning this one? Man of Cups. Well, look at the pearls here. They have too much emotion about this. They want this so much. They're feeling a little bit rattled. They're completely like, I want to, these are the pearls of wisdom. They're trying hard to understand what's the best way to do something, but they keep getting sidetracked by their emotions. But I can't help it. I really feel this emotion. I don't think this emperor is used to having their emotions lead the way. They're used to their logic. So although they're struggling with, okay, when is the right time? I want to come toward her and, make an offer on the right day, the right time, but they're not used to being like bathed in emotion. They're good with logic. But I think this emperor, they're in their feels, this emperor is really in their feels. Okay, so I'm going to change decks and I'm going to ask, because I still have not, even though I'm 90% leaning towards saying this emperor is that Knight of Wands, who was so confusing, who was such a player. I'm not going to say 100% that is the emperor now. Not unless we ask, just tell me who the Knight of, or where the Knight of Wands is right now. Let's see if we get a crossover that tells us they're the emperor. 8 of Coins. There's somebody who's working on things. They have definitely, in part 1, they had realized that the reason she stays on their mind is because they even thought that's the person I'm supposed to marry. But it's kind of like come to them slowly, like they wanted to stay a player and they can't because they met her, but they messed things up with her too. At this point they are working on things, but this says that they've been working alone on things. 2 of Coins, the Judgment, King of Wands in the reverse. See, this is not the emperor. The emperor is somebody else entirely. This Temperance Queen, oh, I didn't think of it this way. Okay, hold on. The Temperance Queen is not one of these 2 that we see on the 2 of Discs. This is saying that she has 2 different people that want to come toward her from completely different avenues. One of these is the Knight of Wands, and the other one is the Emperor. I didn't see it that way. I thought one of these was her and one of them was the other person. No, she has 2 different people drawn to her right now. And they're vastly different, obviously. One is the Knight of Wands, and now let's return to talking about them. This knight has been working on themselves. This knight possibly is aware that all this time I was a player. Now I meet somebody that I actually realize I can't get them out of my head. I want them. And now I realize I never thought of this before, but what if she has more than one option? I've always been the person that was out there creating options for myself. I never thought, what if she has an option other than me? In fact, crap, she just might. But I want to have a renewal with her. I want this with her now, and I know it. And I think even the idea of the fact that she could be having someone else pursue her, somebody else, have a romance with her, I think throws them into, I don't think that this player has ever felt bad about themselves before until now that they met somebody they actually want, somebody that's real, somebody that they desperately want to have a renewal with. And now they're thinking, I don't even know if I'm good enough to have a renewal with her. I am frustrated. I am irritated. I don't feel good enough. I feel like she's supposed to be able to be mine. This person is actually still very entitled. I described them in not a very nice way at the beginning. In part 1, I referred to them as the weasel energy, and now they're the entitled energy. They're frustrated because now they think, well, I want her. So they went from they wanted anybody that they wanted whenever they wanted them, and they were entitled to all that. Now they want her and not those other superficial connections that they used to pursue. Now they're ticked off. Not even ticked off. It's a combination of I don't really feel good enough and I'm frustrated about that. Fool in the reverse. They are not making a leap of faith toward her. This person doesn't want to do anything. Isn't going to be a slam dunk that they're sure that they get it, that they're going to win her over, that they're going to get her back. But they're frustrated because there's a knowledge that there's a way higher percentage that she's already with somebody else or that she wouldn't take them back. This person, they've got a lot of ego too. They don't want to look like a fool who comes back in and says, I love you. I want to marry you now. By the way, this is not a story about, two dudes chasing after one woman. This could be all same sex. This could be reverse roles. This could be blend of roles, apply whatever you wish. But wow. So this night has not evolved yet. They really haven't. In fact, they're just super stressed out about the reality that now they know unequivocally they want her. They don't want all those other options. They want her. They also know that their likelihood of getting her back, they think pretty poor, and they don't want to look like a fool. They are very stressed out about the situation. And at this point, what did they do when they hit a brick wall? This says they have to make a change. They've reached, I think this person's in serious stress. But what does it mean with the World card? Capricorn energy there. And we also had Scorpio there with that Judgment card. King of Coins, Ace of Coins. Okay, so we are seeing them evolve, but you notice they're still not an emperor. They have reached the end of the line. All this frustrated little, like throwing little tissy fits energetically because they're like, but I want her. Now I'm upset because I'm picturing her with somebody else. I don't want her with somebody else. Now I want her. That frustration and then that stress of how foolish they feel that they mess things up with her in the first place. Finally, they're saying, how am I going to handle this? They finally make a change and they go, I need to quit being scared that she's already got somebody else. I need to first feel like I have something to offer. And I need to just say, I want a new beginning. I want to give to this. They get over themselves is what they do within this story. They get over themselves. But remember, she's got an emperor coming toward her, but I think she's going to have this knight come toward her also. So let's go ahead and change decks one last time. Tell me what happens when the emperor approaches her, because that emperor is, they're unable to hold back. They have a lot of emotion for her. When the emperor comes forward, we've got a page of wands, but we got the king of swords in the reverse. She may be stunned. She did not expect this emperor to ever say something like this. Maybe this emperor has never spoken to her before. She had no idea they were even thinking about her. And it could be like, wow, this is unexpected. There is a spark. There is a flicker of passion almost immediately, but she never saw this one coming. This emperor had been someone that she even thought was like very, very stern, very like they have never given a flicker of interest. They haven't shown that at all. They've been very focused on their own career. They could be a business owner. Maybe she patronizes their business and that's how they've gotten to know her. And she had no idea that they thought of her as anything other than a patron of the business. And now suddenly they're asking her out. We've got Judgment and we got the Three of Cups. This is a moment for her to say, I'm going to make a judgment call. Yes, I'm going to go out with you. This is a judgment call that mentally she may be thinking back to that night from her past. The night that she knew lied, the night that she said, I'm just going to surrender this whole confusion to the universe and I'm just going to go about building my life, getting back on track. She may be making a judgment call to say, I understand now, that night wasn't for me. I got back on my track and now here I am being asked out by someone I never expected to ask me out. Somebody that's amazing. They're an emperor. They don't maybe talk a whole lot yet, but I'd like to get to know them. So I'm going to go out with them. And she might be saying like a little goodbye in her mind, like letting that night from the past know I forgive you for whatever mess you made, because you know what? Knowing you brought me to this moment in time, and I'm going to go ahead and go out with somebody new. This could be, whew, that's a moment. That's a moment. Okay, hold on. We got to change decks to ask about what about the knight who's now become that King of Pentacles, because they are coming in with a brand new offer. They finally got out of their own way. They have evolved. They have become a king instead of a knight. So what's going on? Oh, wow. Four of Swords. There is actually still silence here. I wonder if they get a suddenly hit that I'll see. Seven of Pentacles, Page of Cups. I'm wondering if, even though they're ready to come forward, if they pause maybe for just another 4 days, maybe another week, 7 days, because they're thinking long and hard about, how do I open up this conversation? I want to offer her something, but I want to come in with an apology. That delay that they put out there might be exactly the time frame that this emperor gets their foot in the door. This has almost been like a race where these two are closing in. They're walking the same path, headed toward that Temperance Queen, but who's going to get there first? You notice one actually has a bigger boundary around them than this one. I'm starting to think that that night they delay just long enough to kind of like contemplate things. But what could be interesting is that the reason they have the delay is because they sense that there's some healing vibe that's coming off of her. What they don't know is that healing vibe that they pick up from her is her letting them go. They're thinking, okay, let me just, I think I'm going to give it 1 more week, and then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, I have something to tell you. I'm so sorry that I behaved the way I did. Wow. I don't know that they're getting an answer from her, because this is them having sleepless nights. This is them sending that apology, and they definitely don't hear right back from her, because they're up all night. Judgment, High Priestess, 5 of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. This is that story has come full circle. This Queen of Cups, who I've been calling the Temperance Queen, because she was both the Queen of Cups in part 1 and also the Temperance card that we saw twice to describe her. You notice how she's pouring that cup out? The judgment call has been made. She's not going back to that person from her past. They are realizing, you notice it's all these coffins. They finally, this knight who has now become a king, has finally gotten to the point where they are reaching out to her. Had they reached out to her initially, she might have ended up giving them a second chance, but this emperor instead gets an opportunity with her. So by the time they reach out to her to send this apology, she does not respond. This is silence followed by a sleepless night for them. And I think her silence, I think by maybe the next day, I think that they're realizing that something about this timing, like the very moment that they were finally ready to try to come back in and have a new beginning with her, they missed that new beginning because it was the closure. It was the final judgment call. It was meant to be this way, though. Now, are they sad about this? Oh yeah, I think they're crying a lot. And I think she may even feel like, I'm sorry that now they've changed and they're reaching out to me, but I just said I'm going out with an emperor. I just finally decided I could release this. And you know, this emperor is what's on my path now, not that knight. Were they important in my life? Yes. But are they someone who things have aligned for her in a whole different pathway? She discovered who she really is, what she really wants, and I think that's why this emperor has shown up for her. And I think at this point in time, the whole reason that, if you remember, I said with that 2 of Cups, I think that they met each other for a reason, and we're seeing the reasons. It wasn't so they could be in a union at all. It was so that they could influence each other to grow, to become their best selves, to get beyond who they have been, and actually end up in better places. This knight has definitely ended up a better person. They're no longer a weasel. They want to like grow things. They want a new beginning for themselves, and they're going to have that new beginning, even though I don't think they get to have it with her. I think this was an opportunity for them to reconcile how things had happened between them, and that they're not coming back into a union. But I don't think that matters. I think they had a positive influence on one another after all. I'm going to leave that one there for better or worse. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.